Hey, History Through Film, this is Miss Corey. All right, so I'm going to talk through Unit 3, World War II with you. As you could probably figure out, World War II, or Unit 3, is our last unit of the semester. So, let's finish out strong, shall we? So, students will be able to comprehend the topics we'll be covering Unit 3, World War II. Your job is to watch this video and then answer the questions in blue text. So we're going to be watching two movies during this unit. The first one is Saving Private Ryan. The second one is In This Corner of the World. So Saving Private Ryan, I shortened that to SPR, by the way. So if you've ever seen that, that just means Saving Private Ryan. It came out in 1998, and here is the summary from IMDb about it. So opening with the Allied invasion of Normandy on 6th of June, 1944, members of the 2nd Ranger Battalion under Captain Miller fight ashore to secure a beachhead. Amidst the fighting, two brothers are killed in action earlier in New Guinea, and a third is killed in action. Their mother, Mrs. Ryan, is to receive all three of the grave telegrams on the same day. The United States Army Chief of Staff, George C. Marshall, is given an opportunity to alleviate some of her grief when he learns of a fourth brother, Private James Ryan, and decides to send out 8 men, Captain Miller, and select members of the 2nd Rangers to find him and bring him back home to his mother. So this movie is very, very, very vaguely based off of a true story. It is more considered historical fiction, meaning that it's fictional. It didn't actually really happen, but all the events are plausible enough it could have happened in real life. And then the second one is In This Corner of the World, which I shortened to In This Core of the War. And it came out in 2016, and it is about a spirited 80-year-old woman who is married off to a man she barely knows as she combats the daily struggles of living in Hiroshima during World War II. This is also not based on a true story, but the author uses bits and pieces of real stories and combines them into this film. So everything that happens in the film happened to someone in Japan during World War II, but it wasn't all the same people. It's like a bunch of different stories combined and kind of made fictionalized under this girl who you will find out is named Suzu. All right, so let's take a look at a schedule for the rest of the year, actually. So we're starting out here with U3-L1, Intro to Unit 3, World War II. And then for the rest of the week, we're going to do Basics of World War II Part 1, Basics of World War II Part 2, and Basics of World War II Part 3. Now, all three of those ed puzzles are made by me. If you ever took my world history class, they will look fairly familiar because they're the ones I also use for my world history class, but I tune them to History Through Film. And then we'll learn about what is D-Day, because that is the opening scene of Saving Private Ryan. And then we'll watch a video that I make, another ed puzzle, Intro to Saving Private Ryan, where I just kind of go through the characters and some of the vocab words. And then we have Saving Private Ryan, and I, of course, break it up into 30-minute chunks like I usually do for movies. And then we do Intro to the Other Side of War, and then Intro to In This Corner of the World, where I talk about kind of like the Japan side of World War II and go through some of the characters of In This Corner of the World. So with weeks 2 and 3, by the way, I am publishing them at the same time. So just make sure that you get week 2 stuff done by May 3rd and you get week 3 stuff done by May 10th. But if you want to work ahead on week 3 stuff when we're back in week 2, that's totally fine. I did that so I don't have to break up the video into 2 weeks because it's kind of awkward to watch a movie like Saving Private Ryan and only go through like, you know, a little over half the movie, and then you have to wait the weekend, and then you have to finish off the movie. So that way you can watch Saving Private Ryan all in one go if you want to, or you can space it out. And then with week 4, we have In This Corner of the World, and I chunked that up into 30 minutes as well. And then we will go through the directions for the Unit 3 summative, which actually I will go through with you today as well. And then you're going to start the Unit 3 summative. Do note that the Unit 3 summative is going to be due May 24th at midnight. Also, all missing and late work will also be due May 24th at midnight. If it is not turned in by May 24th at midnight, it becomes a permanent 0, including the Unit 3 summative. So just make sure that you get your work on time. I give you plenty of work time to do those missing or late assignments as well as the Unit 3 summative. So for week 5, all I have scheduled is just work time. So there should be no excuses because I'm giving you a ton of time to complete the work for this class. All right, so before I let you continue on to U3-L2, let's talk through your summative. I want you to have an idea of your summative so you can mentally prepare for what content I will be looking for in your summative. And feel free to take notes or write ideas as you go through these lessons. So let's take a look at that summative real quick. All right, so here's the summative here. So directions. You're going to make a podcast / voice recording about Saving Private Ryan and In This Corner of the World. Your podcast must include, it has to be 3 minutes long. You must introduce yourself at the beginning of the podcast, as any good podcaster would do. You must answer the prompts to the questions and complete sentences. The first thing you got to tell me is you got to give me your opinion on Saving Private Ryan. Did you enjoy the movie? If so, what parts did you enjoy? Did you dislike the movie? If so, what parts did you dislike? Now, when it comes to these questions, make sure you answer them as specifically as possible. You can't just be like, I enjoy the movie because Tom Hanks is cool. Like, that's not enough. You got to give specific, like talk about a specific scene or maybe a specific line or something. You got to be specific. And then you're going to do the same thing with In This Corner of the World. Did you enjoy this movie? If so, what parts did you enjoy? Did you dislike this movie? If so, what parts did you dislike? And again, be very specific as you can. You can't just be like, Suzu is annoying. No, you got to give me some context. Talk about like, maybe there's a scene that you thought was really like artfully done and talk about that, or talk about how you didn't like this character because he did this to Suzu or something like that. Okay? And then at the very end of your podcast, you're going to answer the following question in at least 3 complete sentences. So it says, former Prime Minister of Great Britain, Neville Chamberlain, said, in war, whichever side may call itself the victor, there are no winners, but all are losers. Even though the Allies overall won World War II and the Axis lost World War II, how do we see loss in Saving Private Ryan? How do we see loss in This Corner of the World? I am looking for specific pieces of information and specific scenes from each of the movies. I know it seems kind of like a lot to talk about, but trust me, it will take over probably 3 minutes to do. You'll be surprised of how much you could talk about between these 2 movies. So recording your podcast, I'll go through this a little bit later when we get closer to the summative. You'll have another video and I'll walk through the instructions again of how to record the podcast, because there's a very simple but specific way I want you to do it. But one of the big things, of course, I'll talk about later is just make sure your audio works and blah, 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 like that. So if your submission is silent / quiet, that I can't understand you as well, you'll be getting a 0. Other concerns about voice recording, let me know. We can schedule a phone call or a meeting. So you can do like the voice recording to me live. I'll be the only one who listens to the podcast, so I know a lot of students are like, oh, I don't want other people listening to them. Nope, it's just going to be me, okay? And then again, the use of outside resources for information will result in points deducted from your project, if not a permanent 0. Outside resources would include looking on the internet for information or using AI for information about this unit that we did not use in class. For example, you cannot just Google or AI and ask, give me 3 bullet points about loss and Saving Private Ryan. Use the first results that come up. I'll be very picky on your answers from the prompt above by having you use information only from the lessons from the unit. I also have an example podcast. I did mine on the Leave Their Own and Hidden Figures. So y'all just want to copy and paste my answers, but I know a lot of you do like it when I do examples, so that's why I try to do examples when I can. And the rubric is attached to the Unit 3 summative assignment, and this will be due Sunday, May 24th at midnight. I will not be accepting anything late, okay? Anything late that comes in, I'm not grading. It's becoming a permanent 0, so make sure you get it in by the deadline. Also note that all late / missing assignments, as well as the podcast, are due Sunday, May 24th at midnight. If it is not turned in, it becomes a permanent 0, no exceptions. So don't fail history through film. Please don't. It's not that hard of a class. You can do it, I promise. All right, let's go back to our slideshow. So here's just a few quick comprehension questions. So when is the summative due? Sunday, May 24th, midnight. Will Miss Corey be accepting the summative after May 24th at midnight? No, she will not. The summative is a podcast, which means I need to record my voice. Should I wait until the last minute to see if my audio works? No, you should not. If my audio doesn't work, what should I do? Go to the Chrome Depot to fix it ASAP, or tell Miss Corey ASAP and schedule a meeting, a phone call with her so you can do it live. All right, let's wrap this up. If you have any questions, email me. I'm more than happy to help you out. Next up, you're going to do U3-L2 Basics of World War II Part 1. Again, that's one of my ed puzzles, and you're just going to answer the questions on the video. I won't be grading you on if you get the questions right or wrong, just that you're taking your best educated guess. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.